Feels steadily getting bigger as we pick up momentum in this new season of 2024-2025. Welcome to our preview of turffontein racing. Yes, indeed. We are recording on a Friday for Saturday, the stand-side meeting, which promises that to be filled with some very, very good competitive racing. And as mentioned, well, its fields have been on the smallish side. No real big fields on Saturday, but at least we do have very competitive fields. And the first of those races gets underway at 12:25. This is a show proudly sponsored by Betway, the home of the PSL, and of course sponsors of the 2024 Summer Cup, which is now beckoning. Let's get into our meeting for this afternoon, and we go straight to race number 2. Before we do anything, we have to welcome the sage himself, Mr. Marie. Welcome. Friday, Saturday racing once again at Turffontein on the stand-side track. What do you think of the card?
Uh, I'm always in love with the turffontein card.
How did the Val treat you, by the way?
Yeah, I think we did okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I left out Bava Vegas. Otherwise, we would have gone close to showing a
You
decent
mean Vegas
profit.
High Rise? Or Vegas?
Vegas High Rise.
Vegas High Rise. All right, let's just hope that you don't repeat the same error. We'll put that behind us. And race number 2 now, just to link to your thoughts, Inspector James. There were a couple of first-timers from the Van Furen stable, in the colours of the Vernus. And Inspector James was actually the one that was expected to be the right one on a debut, but ran third. But at least there's a little bit of reprieve. The winner then came out and won again last Saturday.
That's right. Surprisingly so, Cecil. But yeah, on that day you touched on, they won the previous race with a first timer that was expected to need further.
Yes.
And this was the one that was fancied strongly on the day. I think it did let the side down. In saying that it was its debut effort, could have been better than what it showed on track. So got a lot of scope for improvement. You've touched on the fact that Secret Court did frank the form. The third place runner, or the second place runner, was
That was a
Pacific.
stable companion. It didn't really cover itself in glory last Saturday.
Got beaten in a very poor field next time out. So I've got my question marks. The horse that brings the strongest form into the race, no doubt, is Karate Kid. Now, that was over 1160 against winners. A little bit of a concern that it comes back in trip. I mean, the sire is more stay in lines, but the dam, I don't know. Do you recall the dam?
Yes, Kinetic Countess.
Yeah, she won
Kinematic
close to
brother.
10 races.
Yes.
She, I think she won several Group 3s, placed in the Tommy Hotspur. I didn't bank him because of the fact that it's 1,000 meters. So I backed him up with a highly regarded Inspector James.
5 and 6 in that first leg, and you should, in an ideal world, to come through, possibly even double up. It's a 72 rand outlay. 1 o'clock is it start to race 2. All right, we have a P8 starting in race number 3. A place soccer 610 and a 13 maiden plate. It is over the 1,600 meters, and talking about soccer, the official curtain raise in the UK said that is on a Sunday. I do believe that is, of course, the start of the season with the Charity Shield. Man United versus Man City, I do believe. Get onto that Betway website and see what sort of soccer bets and soccer deals they can offer you. Now, race number 3, Mr. Marie, we've got a favorite in the form of the 8 Confederation, and that is at 12 to 10, 18 to 10, the 9 Towers of Gold, 11 to 2, and a better bar those. They made no secret on debut about what they thought about the 8 Confederate rather than Confederation. That is Fabian Abib, who's in great form, another couple of winners for him, and Gavin sticks with the ride.
A lovely debut, Cess. If I'm not mistaken, they won the race prior to Confederates race,
Yes.
the same day. And the stable made it very clear that he's highly regarded, and they would give his rivals a lot of cheek. He did move up like he was just about to win it. Very green still. I loved his debut. You know, that was over 1,400 up the straight. He now goes around the bend and steps up to a mile. I think the mile will suit him. You know, the sire won up to 2,200, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of scope for improvement. So the fact that he came to the track with a bit of a reputation and with Fabian in cracking form, I think he's a confident enough PA banker, that's for certain. I do have respect for Towers of Gold. 2 fair enough sprints. Now steps up to a mile. Not really a fan of the Wolf Mountain form line, but that was over 1,100. He could be a different sort now that he's going the extra. I had a look at his breeding. The dam won over a mile, but most of his siblings are sprinters. So I really think Confederate is good enough to banker.
All right, a confident banker there. That is race number 3, number 8 for the Bib stable. And it's an off time to a 13:35. Race 3, a maiden plate over the 1600. Well, no doubt. We always say they are a tough bet to get involved in, but we always end up taking one, and that is the Pick Six. Starts race 4, and this is a maiden plate for fillies and mares over the 1600 meters. Just a quick look at top 3 or 4 in what is a trappy-looking race number 4. And your favorite is number 1, City Lights at 12 to 10. Number 4, Silver Flare, 3 to 1, 5 to 1 is number 3. That is Silky Jet. It is 6 to 1 about the 8, Fetching Flyer. 10 to 1 and a better bar those. Well, of course, you liked one of the horses that ran behind it together again, where we see the form reflected with the 4 Silver Flare. The winner in yesterday's meeting was Cartagena, who ran a length, 0.75 lengths behind the Silver Flare. What sort of a chance to give it? Because City Lights, I wouldn't really put my red money on.
Says, Silver Flare improved on the Highveld. Tyrone Zaki's got his yard in good form. Although Cartagena franked that form, I'm still wary of it. I'm not convinced, and I'm playing to beat it. Now, Silver Flare did carry 53.5. It was a handicap.
Of course, made a handicap, yeah.
Let's see how she goes. I haven't put her in. Also wary about several other form lines. But let's touch on City Lights. I mean, she is the foremost in the race. She's deserving. Last time up, she moved up like she was going to get it right. Party Punch just came back and grabbed her on the line, got the better of her going away. I'm not too concerned about coming back in trip, but she's exposed and limited. The filly, I think, is the huge improver in the race, and I think is way overpriced.
Pass the baton.
Excuse me, is?
Pass the baton.
No. Pass the Baton's also had a few runs. And funny enough, she's a gin strike for the boys that like to follow that.
Yes.
Is Fetching Flyer.
Okay.
From the poorly matched yard, number 8. Moderate debut. Some improvements in her second start. Still not convinced about that form line. But listen to this. The United States stayed all day. Mile and a half horse. The Dam, very, very decent. You recall her. She ran second in the Grade 1 Mallorca.
Yes.
She is going to love the step up in trip. I watched the latest replay. She moved up to a certain extent and then started to be a little bit one-paced. I think that indicates that she's going to love the step up in trip. I can't believe her current price. She's got a lot of scope for improvement. She's round about 6 to 1 now. I'd rather be taking the 6 to 1 about Fetching Flyer than the 12 to 10 City Lights. I'm not looking past the two of them.
1 and 8. That is City Lights, your 12 to 10 favorite, and the value number 8, Fetching Flyer, with the assistance of a man priced up as the second favorite to win the championship this year, Muzi Yeni. The off time to race 4 is 14:10. At this juncture, it's always worth reminding you of what you're missing out if you haven't accessed your Betway app in recent times. There is a bet called a Million Jackpot that started if you were to play today in a race number 2, and that ends with race 9. Now the idea is to pick all 8 winners. You can nominate one that could possibly miss out on that winner's state check, but still make it into the first 3, and you're in line to be part of that million payout. Now let's get to that first leg of the first jackpot. And it is for hospitality bookings. Call 011681 1796. It's a novice handicap over the 1800 meters. I think the operative word there, novice handicap. Now, as far as favoritism, it is 1 Strewn Sky at 15 to 10. Mount Darwin is at 5 to 2. It is 4 to 1 about the 3 Copper Mist. It's 8 to 1 and a better bar those. So Stu Pettigrew has got a coupling, and it is the second one that has really seen a lot of people lose their hair, and that is Fushimi Inari. Whenever you think it is ready to come through and win, that win has never really manifested. Who are you going for in race 5, Mr. Murray?
Let's touch on the favorite, Struenskar. Firstly, this is going to be an interesting race because
Yes,
Gavin's not riding for Jan Janse.
yes, yes,
So, yeah, let's
yes.
see how it goes. I'm sure he wants to prove a point, but nevertheless, Struenskar, unfortunate last time out, says he came out a little bit sluggishly, and because it was a big field, he found himself out of ground. And the form line has worked out well.
I was just
Vesuvius
about
won
to
from
say.
there.
Mm.
Romeo's Magic won from there. So I think in a smaller field, he's a nice improving stayer, this sort. So I'll give him a strong winning chance. But go back to his penultimate start behind the brief. Who was in that race? Mount
Mount Darwin.
Darwin. Who's better off and beat him? Mount Darwin. He beat him by a very little short margin, but he's a kilo and a half better off, and he's more racing fit because he's had an extra run in between that. So, strictly on paper, Mount Darwin's the right horse. So I'm happy to have banked Mount Darwin in my PA, like you saw. In the bar pot, I put them both. In the pick six and the jackpot, I'm putting them both. Numbers 1 and 2.
That is the jackpot 1 and 2. Should be an interesting race. And of course, we've got the scratching of the 4 Kudzu in a race number 5, leaving us a field of 7. But it's just another example of what a good card of Saturday promises to be at Turffontein. You're joining us as we preview Turffontein Racing. A warm welcome to you. It is weighted to win for Saturday, Turffontein Standside Track, proudly brought to you by Betway. And now we get into the first of a couple of pinnacle stakes, and it's really a beautiful card at Turffontein on Saturday. In race number 6, we see the returner to the Standside Track, to the returner to course and distance, the returner to its Jubilee victory, and that is of Meridius. It's once again a teaming up with the Muzi Yeni, who was aboard penultimate run when running in that Jubilee, and hoping to repeat that. Now, Daryl, Meridius is at 15 to 20. The 5 Pyromaniac in the colours of Mrs. Matilda Stradham is at 7 to 2, 6 to 1, and better bar those. By the way, he watches the show because as soon as he had a winner last Saturday when he won with Dual Prophecy, he says, "Oh, by the way, yes, that is my mom. My mom's short name is Tilly, but it's short for Matilda."
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that this horse is still on the Highveld, but you know what? He's in good form, so maybe they're gonna pursue with him up here. I don't know. I thought he'd be in the Eastern Cape right now. Yeah, I'll give him a chance. They're still in my exotics. I actually went field in this leg. I think Meridius is a crazy price. I know he's joint best weighted, and he's over the same course and distance that he's probably the most effective over. But in his penultimate start when he won the Jubilee, he was actually, I think he must have been really primed to win the Jubilee in the hope of getting into the Hollywood Bets Durban July, which was the case. Now he's come back. I'm sure they've been soft on him since then, giving him a chance to recover. So I'll give him a winning chance. I mean, it's clearly he's the horse to beat, but at 7.5 to 10, I certainly won't be touching him. Savannah Storm, I expected more from him last time out. I don't know if you recall, a couple of years ago, I think 2 years back, the son of Sudden Storm caused a huge upset in this Drumstar with Marco van Rensburg at
I
around
do
about
believe.
25 to 1.
Yes.
That was over this very same course and
Yeah,
distance.
yeah.
He's carrying 54. He's well in over here. He's joint best in. And he's round by 10 to 1. Now, for me, it's a no-brainer. He represents more value. I do want to touch on Uncle Tyron Zach. He's flashy Apache.
Yeah.
Now, he's badly out at the weights. I think he's way better than his last starts. Stable's really doing well at the moment. In the small field, he doesn't deserve to be 16 to 1. At the weights, he's got his work cut out. But he's come down in the ratings. He's having his peak run. I think we can expect improvement on his behalf. So, yes, Meridius the horse to beat. No value whatsoever. For that reason, I went wide.
There it is confirmed. Field 1 to 6 in the first leg, and it seems a field in the last leg of a jackpot 2. That is all 9 horses in race number 9. As mentioned before, we spoke about race number 6, or dissected race 6 with Daryl. There are a couple of pinnacles, and the second of those pinnacles is over the shorter trip of 1160, and you do have some course and distance specialists or if you want to really go to the jugular or step on the jugular, you'd say we've got some hard knockers in race number 7 who are all capable of taking out a race of this nature. Now, as far as the favourite is concerned, it is Gavin Arena Honor, the one rulership, and an open affair here is 3-1. Then you've got the stable companion number 3, Captain Hindsight. Chase Mojan seems to have built up a good relationship with Captain Hindsight. That is at 33-10. 5-1 is a 6 Troppo Veloce, and this afternoon will be partnered, or at least Saturday afternoon will be partnered by Serena Moodley. I stopped there, Daryl, to give you all the time in the world, although it is very limited, to dissect race 7.
Yes, let's have the look at the best weighted. You'll see the filly, Troppo Veloce comes up trumps, Killer best in ahead of Anfield, Rocket, Quantum Theory, Captain Hindsight. Now, rulership is 5th best in, and he's earned his rating of 1,000 meters. I've played to beat him. I've got respect for him. I can see him winning, but my perms were costly. So he was one of the few I omitted over here, along with Quantum Theory and Silent War and Mount Pilatus. So I've only got numbers 2, 3, and 6. Troppo Veloce last time out. You know, she's best up the Turffontein straight. The same can be said about Anfield's Rocket and Captain Hindsight. Now, Troppo Veloce improved last time out. They fitted her with the tongue tie, and she got beaten by an improving filly. 52.5 to shoulder, drawn towards the outside. Strong winning chance, but she's taken on the boys. I cannot believe the price of Anfield's Rocket at 12-1. You know, Cecil, I really think Turffontein 1160 is his game. In his penultimate start behind Silent War, I thought he was a bit unfortunate. He's well in over here. He's back on the half felt. He's 2 kilograms better off with Silent War. In that start, he was having his second run after a layoff. Probably still in need of that effort. So I think at 12-1, we have to get stuck in. Let's have a win bet on Anfield's Rockets. Captain Hindsight, surprising that he won last time out over 1,000 meters. I think he is better over the 1,200. Drawn towards the outside. This horse is as consistent as the day is long. So I'll give him another winning chance. I think he'll be right there when the chips are down. So for me, the value Anfield's Rocket, respect for 3 and 6.
That's Daryl Marie, Anfield's Rocket. That is Santa Claus number 2, Bilisan Mkloli, who's certainly started the season off in good form. Right, we're done with the Pinnacle Stakes for Saturday. We now move on to a merit rate at 91 over the 1,400 meters. Due off at 4:30. That'll be your last chance to get involved in a double at Turffontein. And your favorite is number 7, Bob's Your Uncle, who's back to winning ways at 28-10. 5, Max the Magician, slowly edging to that winner's box, 7-2. Consistent number 6, Open Highway, 7-2. It's 5-1 and better, bar those quoted runners. So it is Marco van Rensburg who gets the ride on the 7, Bob's Your Uncle. Ray Danielson aboard last time out. It is Marco with that 56 to shoulder who could take all the beating.
Yeah, let's start off with the 2 that finished alongside each other, Open Highway and Max the Magician. Now, by now we'll know if Mount Darwin has franked that form or not, but nevertheless, I think both have got strong winning chances. You know, Open Highway has really found his feet here up on the Highveld. Goes well over the course and distance. You know, he's actually won and run 3rd. He's only had 2 starts over here. Neat draw. Musi will give him a nice confident ride from the saddle. Strong winning chance. Max the Magician, since being gelded, he's come down nicely in the ratings. He's finished right up there alongside the leading contenders. Strong winning chance. But if you go now to Bob's Your Uncle, go back 4 runs in Bob's Your Uncle's form line. You'll see he got beaten 2 3/4 lengths by Open Highway. He is now 5.5 kilograms better off. He has to be taken seriously. But I'm leaning towards Brave Viking of here, Cecil. Firstly, I mean, we all know that Joey's yard's firing at the moment. Secondly, he's back around the bend. I think he's better around the bend. Last time out, Joey won the previous race with Avo on Toast.
Yes.
And he said, in the interview, he said, listen, Avo on Toast come up on me. I thought she was going to be in need of that run.
That day.
But you can have a go on my next 2 horses.
Yes.
And Brave Viking was one of them.
Yes.
So he ran below par. In his penultimate start, Money Heist got the run of the race and he was closing in starkly. The blinkers go on over a course and distance that is best over. He's going to slot in behind Bob's Your Uncle, get the run of the race. At 6-1, we have to have a bet on Brave Viking. And I can tell you something, if you watch him move down to the start and he's moving well, you double your bet.
All right, so that is the King and the Mellow, who will have the responsibility of steering Brave Viking to that victory. It is with victory 4 from 18 outings. Jessica Motown, by the time we see Brave Viking run, could have had a double on the afternoon, because on the weekend, because the ladies alternate runs on Friday. All right, so as we round off our preview with look at race number 9, a reminder that it is, of course, lots of opportunities to get involved over this weekend in the betting side of things with Betway, our proud sponsors of Weighted to Win. Now, Mr. Marie, we already know where your loyalties lie in race number 9, but let's just have a look at the top 3 or 4 in the betting. It is the one King's Ransom. Gavin Arena once again on a favorite. Candace Dawson is your conditional 4-1. Number 2, Southern Blaze. That seems to really go well, especially at the Vol. Does Southern Blaze 9-2, 5-1, and better bar those quoted runners. The last 2 runs have come through on the Vol Classic track.
You saw in my pick 6 and my jackpots, I went field in this
Yes.
lineup. It is very open. You know, King's Ransom's an improving sort. Seems to race better, closer to the pace. In saying that, there's a lot of pace in this race. You got Press on Regardless, who's a galloper. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go back to back. You got Archimedes. So the 2 of them are going to go push forward. Yeah, Prince of Kildare. If you
Yes.
like King's Ransom, Prince of Kildare, who's found very good form, and congrats to Billy Rates. He's small strings in great form at the moment. If you go back a few runs, he's 4.5 kilograms better off with King's Ransom. He's got the draw. He's carrying 52.5. He finally cracks a decent draw, the son of Coup de Grace. So I respect his chances. You know, you touched on Stewie's also via Southern Blaze. I'm
Yeah.
not too concerned about the wide draw. He tends to come out a little bit slow, but he's got a great finish on him. Kotinos has to be considered. Golden Pavilion. But the horse I'm leaning towards in a wide open race and with not a lot of confidence is Moonlight Trader. Now, in his penultimate start, in a handicap, he stayed on starkly behind Warm Winter Night. It was his first run as a gelding. He's now having his peak run as a gelding. He's stepping over further, and from what I saw, you know, he's one of the distance before. He's crying out for this now. So it looks like he's been primed for this race. From a 2 draw, 55 to shoulder, I think we'll get a bold showing from number 7, Moonlight Trader. It's a wide open race. If you gain into the last and you're ahead, have a strike.
You've heard the words of Daryl. 7, Moonlight Trader, race number 9. That is Weighted to Win at Turffontein. Thanks once again to our proud sponsors. That is Betway.